Black revolutionaries, distillery owners, Italian fashion retailers, and Motown Grammy winners all share their best stories never before told in any other media outlets on Detroit is Different. Visit DetroitisDifferent.com or download the Detroit is Different app on Apple's App Store or Google's Play Store.
All right, we are in effect. Detroit is different. Rolling. Beautiful women, beautiful black women. You know we love that. But we also love the energy that they are coming together in an entrepreneurial journey, which is something to do. And also like coming together, unity, collective, cooperative economics. And it's a creative venture. You know how much Detroit is Different supports creativity and culture so much. And now, Apryl Payne. So it is hair, it's makeup, but also a lot of other touches. Miss Payne, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, but I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, everything is cool. Everything is cool. Finding out about your company, and also from talking to your partners, you have some women that have definitely a wise life journey. And right now, as they're coming together, you all are offering an experience that is unique and specific to what you all do as a collective and an experience. So before we get to that, let's get a little into more of your story.
Okay.
Detroit is different. This is a place when people talk about hair, and shout out my man Hump and the Hair Wars. I'm coming this year. This is a place where it's world renowned. But definitely in like Black America, Detroit and hair are like they coincide. What drew your interest into that industry?
Oh man, I started doing hair in middle school. My mom used to do hair. She never was licensed, but she used to braid hair, and it started off I was a braider. Like I didn't have a license. I didn't know how to do much, but I started off braiding hair in middle school and pretty much took over my mom's clientele, and it grew from there.
Wait, time out. So a child took their mama clientele. How did that impact the household dynamics?
She didn't care. It was just, she worked, and then this was something that she would do on the side, and it was her friends. It started off as friends and family. And I would help her, we would do it together at some point, and then eventually she just phased out. And I was the one doing hair. At the time, like I said, it was braids, and it was just clientele picking up. It's you do somebody's hair, and it's tell a friend, tell a cousin, tell an auntie. And so all through middle school, I felt like I had a plethora of money that I didn't know what to do with from braiding hair. So it started off as that, and then by the time I got to high school, I ventured off into doing other styles. And then I was the go-to girl in high school with all the Detroit hairstyles that's probably coming back, like sculpture ponytails and flat twists to the back, and all of these like vintage styles now that's pretty cool to see resurface.
Yeah, I definitely want to touch on that because most recently, like it was like a video glamour shoot, whole party connected to like man, my mind is slipping, but the young woman that's the owner of Lip Bar, and everybody was like, wow, the way they did that was so cool. And my friend Christina, the glam tech, did a lot of what that would be, and kind of similar to your story. I'm like, she was doing the updos and all that stuff back when that was happening. Like, even though she was the young person doing that, like really young doing it, you know what I'm saying? So bringing it back in that look, and everybody was like, wow, that was cool. I didn't even think about it. And like capturing something, it was experiential. And it stood out like in the minds of, I think, like Detroit, especially Detroit Black pop culture for a second in a moment in time, and seeing these waves come back in flow. But you also touched on braiding hair, which one of the things we produce in this year. Natural Hair Show is coming October 29th, Saturday, October 29th. But natural hair, it's something that specifically is definitely more along Black culture. Braiding hair fits in that mix, and as I guess the health department, the state of Michigan, and even the federal government looks to like sanction a lot of this stuff. It obviously isn't a lot of people that look like us even on the boards of sanctioning.
Correct.
What's your stance on something like, should it like the licensing for someone doing like natural hair or braiding, or because I'm kind of up in the air on it myself. But what's your take?
Um, I mean, I can look at it from both ends of the spectrum. I'm licensed, and I've been licensed for about 12 years now. But I was braiding before I was licensed, and I think that's a great way for, especially young women or whoever wants to get into that business to make money. It's not involving chemicals, so it's not a really huge liability like it would be for doing other styles when you talk about coloring and relaxing and stuff like that. So as far as like braiding or natural styles, I mean, I feel like they're probably going to put some type of restriction on it anyway because it's about making money, but I don't think it's necessary. Now, from a business standpoint, of course, if you're running a business and you're doing from taxes and stuff, I understand that. But as far as like if they're not using chemicals or if it's not anything detrimental to that degree with someone's hair and like the integrity of the hair, I don't necessarily agree with it. But like I said, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. So now being a licensed person, but I get to charge what I want to charge, because when you license, you can back your professional piece with schooling and with the financial piece that you've paid and invested into the business, and know that you have education on what's going to work for somebody's hair and what's not going to work and different stuff like that. So I kind of stand on both ends with that, but I do think they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like people are going to do what they're going to do anyway with that. So, yeah.
There's people doing surgical procedures inside.
Exactly.
So it's like, wow.
Exactly.
You're an adventurous individual.
Mm-hmm. I would just hate to see, I know so many younger women, younger girls who, this is the thing, they learn how to do hair probably by doing it on themselves or doing it on a cousin or a sister, and it becomes a thing, and it's teaching them how to get into that world and mindset of being an entrepreneur. So I feel like if you start getting into licensing or charging or whatever, it's just a muddy situation. But I mean, I get it from a business standpoint, from a city standpoint or like licensing piece, but that's just what I think about it.
So, and then also in the same perspective,
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we think of like the 90s, like the era of like the hair magazines and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
Being a stylist is interesting,
Mm-hmm.
because a client can come in like, I want this, and show you like a picture from a magazine, and it's like, your hair is not like
your hair not long enough. I can't make miracles happen. I can try, but no, I stand firm on making sure, regardless of what I'm doing, I'm focused on the integrity of the hair, and healthy hair care. So I'm not a person who's going to give you a style and when you take it out, you're going to be bald head. Like, that's just not what I'm going to do. So there are some things that I would limit myself on doing, or even had a conversation with a client of like, hey, let's talk about it. What's your long-term hair goals? What, when you come out of this, what you're trying to do next? Because sometimes people just want the instant gratification of a style, but don't understand. It's even some people who do hair don't care about what's going to happen when they take that style down. So my focus is, and it kind of ties back into the beauty world for me in general, is being happy with what you have and making that work. And a lot of times I don't really get off into a lot of weaves and stuff, but natural hair is pretty much what I do focus on. Not a lot of natural styles, but just wearing your own hair. I do extensions and stuff, but it's really I really try to focus on talking to my clients and making sure they just feel good in the skin that they're in. If it's they want to grow their hair, and that's the beauty about having a license, because you learn so much more than just hair. You learn the way chemistries work with chemicals or whatever, and you learn scalp conditions, and you're able to cater to them and even make recommendations that's way deeper than just hair. Mm-hmm. So I know with us as a Lux Collective, and Brandy or Shay probably talked about this, but when we're dealing with women, it's a very unique situation when you just we want to feel good. You want to be able to show up and feel good in your own skin. So I have a lot of those conversations, when I'm doing consultations with my clients, talking about what's their long-term goal. Because again, you can come in, you can want a style, we can get that done, but what's the point if 2 weeks later you take it down and you don't have nothing to work with, or you don't have anything to work with? So that's just a big deal. And there's so many people that would do that and just take your money. That's such a big thing. But for me, it's always been the integrity of the service that I'm providing and the integrity of like what they're going to have when they're done with me. Because it's not about just me getting money and I'm going to get this money and then I'm going to send you on your way and good luck. That's not cool. So it's about, the longevity of retaining a client and also making sure that they're going to be good on the other end.
And as we get into this now, I want to pivot more to some classic Detroiters different questions.
Okay.
But definitely opening up, being that you're connected to hair and makeup, I definitely got to touch on the hair thing. And that seems like a quick launch and everything. Your family's Detroit story. Are you first generation Detroiter? Like, was your family here for forever? Like, what's the Detroit story of your people?
No, my people are from down south, but my Florida, Atlanta, like Georgia area, Florida,
like that
mainly.
Florida, Georgia, like that Jacksonville, Florida.
That connection. Okay. We've got family scattered all over Florida, and we've got people scattered all over Georgia. But my great grandmother moved here, and from there, my grandmother lived here, my mom lived here, my dad lived here. So our roots in Detroit pretty much were planted with my great grandmother.
Okay, that's interesting. Because usually the patterns, it's not a lot of Floridians here. My family goes back to Florida through Georgia. There's a lot of Georgia people in Detroit and Alabama folks, but Floridians usually go further west. Usually.
Yeah, because of the weather.
The weather, I mean, most of the Florida people I know is in Texas now, family.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all, little JR and them. So, what neighborhood? What neighborhood did you all go?
I grew up on Jefferson and Connor. That was like the area. I was the East Side baby. Okay. I did move to the West Side once I was in high school, but my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mom, we all stayed pretty much in my great-grandmother's house. And she lived on Jefferson and Connor.
Wow, Jefferson and Connor. That's like, even though that is technically the East Side, that still kind of feels like downtown-ish, like a Riverside neighborhood and everything.
It's a whole culture in that area, though. The CTC, I don't know if you've ever heard of CTC, and that's like the streets is named after the streets. And they used to have picnics down at a park that's near in that area. And
like that park that the only people over there know about, like down the street from Go Lightly, and then you end up like in this weird traffic jam. Where it's like, where are these people coming from? You know, and it's like, the Fisher Mansion, the Manugian Mansion, like that. It's definitely its own flow, because it's like not as much now, but at one point, as we know a lot about stuff in Detroit. But it was like all these black folks with like houses like right off the river. Yeah. Like,
nice. Very nice
very
houses.
Nice. You know what I'm saying? And nice homes and like you say, that Chalmers, that Connor, that footprint was a little bit different, because it's still, like I say, it still kind of connects to downtown so close, kids either going to Kettering or King or something.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yep, I went to Cass.
Okay, and you went to CT.
I went to Cass Tech.
Okay, but you said you moved west.
I moved west after middle school. My mom relocated to the west side, and I was in the neighborhood of McKenzie.
Oh, okay, the McKenzie neighborhood. Okay,
McKenzie.
Which is its own, depending upon where you at McKenzie, you can almost be like in Dearborn East.
But I knew no one who went to McKenzie because I hung out with Cass folks.
Okay.
So that was my community of people. And then I had been on the east side my whole life. So all of my friends were on the east side. So even when I did hang out with anybody outside of Cass, it was probably people from the neighborhood where I grew up.
And I'm guessing that stayed in the family, so your people were still over in that neighborhood too. So from there, Cass Tech. And we know that you have this growing business and doing hair and everything. I don't know about when you were. Were you in high school at any time when Allen Iverson was playing basketball? Because if you were, I assume so many guys were probably like barreling over. It seemed like hair braiding, and hair braiders should give Allen Iverson a
cut.
I don't know. Y'all need to give him like
Some
a
royalties.
statue or something.
I always had a rule. I never liked doing guys' hair. That was just not my thing. It was not my thing. Guys would say, I want my hair braided. I'm like, I don't do guys' braids. Personally, I don't believe in them.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. I don't really care for seeing guys in braids.
Okay.
And I know it's always been a
Talk about-
trend.
So if he was in high school, so you went like a whole era where you basically were like looking at, I don't know, 85% of black dudes like, why do
you have braids? Why do you have these braids? You need a haircut. Get a nice fresh lineup, you know. But it was a trend. It was a thing, just like it's a thing now, you know, men braids and man buns and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm all about a trend too. So I just didn't partake in being the person who was braiding guys' hair. I had enough women clientele to keep me busy forever and ever and ever. So, but it's cool to watch it. Of course, everything kind of goes in a circle. It always, what we used to do before comes back around.
Most definitely. So that's surprising. You turned down a lot. Well, I'm sure a lot of your hair braiding competition, like I say, hair braiders should give him a statue. Because I assume like almost every one of my homeboys was like, yep. You know, I don't care. You know, it went from like 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 100. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys went through that braiding phase. And I'm probably bald head by now, but
yeah,
a lot of them don't have hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I'm in the no hair team nowadays.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was from braiding, but I did hear that like if without proper care, that
exactly, and that's another reason why I didn't get off into braids, because it's a lot of tension on the scalp. And for women, we wear interchangeably with other styles, but guys, it's like you got to be careful, because when you try to switch back to a nice fade, now your hairline, it's like see, I told you.
Like, oh, my hairline's tapping out.
I told you.
My hairline's tapping out.
But you know, it was a look. It was definitely a look. Even now, I see some styles on some guys, and I'm like, as long as they're neat and clean, but you just have to be careful with braids. You know, it's one of those things you got to do in moderation. You can't keep them all the time, or you will have that receding hairline.
Oh,
and that's for women too.
I'm sure it's tapped out many.
That's for women too.
Because that's my homeboys. Like we know. So.
Oh, Detroit, that was a whole Detroit look for a long time, and I feel like Detroit sets the tone a lot of times with hairstyles. You know what you were talking about, Mia Ray and Melissa from the Lip Bar. They had that whole promotional video that took place a couple of months ago, and they had the sculpture ponytails and stuff. Like nobody was wearing sculpture ponytails. That was a Detroit thing. That was our thing. And it ventured off, and I'm happy to see that it did. And here it is coming back, you know.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to see a Coogee sweater and some iceberg T-shirt soon. I'm going to be like, oh, man, I feel like I'm back in
Gucci loafers.
2000.
Exactly. Exactly. In 1999, 2000.
2000, yeah. 2001 again. It's like, wow. It's like so within that, makeup is another thing in that story. But... So what drew you into that? Was it just like the natural transition? Yeah,
so I, like I said, did hair from middle school through high school, college. When I graduated from college, I moved to Atlanta for a little while.
Okay. And
while I was down there, I said, let me get my license. You know, like, let me become legit with this here thing that I'm doing. So I got licensed while I was in Atlanta, and I came back. And at the time, I started learning how to do makeup as well. And it became just as fun, and I had, you know, just as much excitement about it that I had for hair. And at one point, I was doing more makeup than I was doing hair. And now it kind of balances out. I probably do, it depends on the time of the year, but it's probably 50-50 at this point.
What's the makeup experience that most people, that most of your clients are going for when they come to you?
Most of the time it's for photo shoots, working with the Luxperience team. We do photo shoots, but sometimes it's weddings. Sometimes it's my birthday.
Wedding, like, will it be like the whole wedding party?
It used to be the whole wedding party, but I do have a cap, because I'll need assistance at this point, because sometimes weddings could get to be, I have 20 2011 bridesmaids, and I can't keep up with all of that. And my focus is usually the bride, right? I want my main focus to be the bride. That's what I want to center my attention around. So I have a cap, and if it goes past that, I'll, tap on another makeup artist to come in with me, and we can partner together for the wedding party. But yeah, I'm usually doing wedding parties, a lot of times photo shoots, people, special occasions, birthday parties. I'm going to a certain event, and I just want to look real glammed up or whatever. So.
And do you so makeup seem to me, I'm just from the outside looking in, from the women in my family, but more so like dating experience, makeup's a little bit more intimate than hair. It seems like I've seen a lot of women be more willing to like take the advice of and the guide of like, okay, like even with my natural hair podcast, like they always get questions about that. The makeup artist, I know, it's one of those things like, well, I'm allergic to this, and I think that it's almost like a more, like I say, a more intimate relationship between you and the client. Am I often saying that?
No, I mean, it just depends on the client, but I feel like you kind of get the same feedback.
With hair.
Yeah. I feel like my relationships, whether it's a makeup client or a hair client, is the same. Because people want to just trust you, right? They want to be able to come in. You're the expert. After they've, you've serviced them once or twice, they want to be able to come in and say, I know she got me. She's not going to have me out here looking crazy, whether it's hair or makeup. So I feel like my relationships, and people give feedback on both areas. Oh, super picky about hair or super picky about makeup. But a lot of times I have built that rapport with my clients where they don't have much feedback. They just trust. They come in and say, I just do what you do.
Yeah.
Do what you do. And that's a blessing, because you don't have that a lot of times. You do need to have certain conversations, and that comes with the territory from a consultation. But at some point, you will hope that you'll have clients that will just say, do what you do.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now, before I get into a more business question about the Lux Collective, you were down in Atlanta for a second, but you made your way back to Detroit.
Yep.
What drew you back to the D?
I was homesick. Atlanta was cool. Atlanta is a whole vibe in itself, but I was there for about 3.5, 4 years, and my mom was having some health issues. Family comes first, so. And then when I would travel home, I started traveling home very frequently, where it was like every other month, and I'm like getting a flight and coming home. And it just got to a point where I was like, I miss home. You can always go other places, but home is home. It's nothing like how you feel when you're around family, the vibe you have here. I'm proud of my city. I'm proud of the things we've been able to do here in the city. I came back with just a new, zest and energy around being home. Because before I felt like I've been here my whole life and I just want to get away. And sometimes you feel like you want to go experience something different. And I did. I've traveled a lot for work. I moved away for a while. But I had a newfound appreciation when I came back of just being around family, being in the city, being a part of the city coming back. I joined a bunch of nonprofits when I came back, was on boards to help, with some of the things that was happening in Detroit at the time. So it was exciting. And now I've kind of transitioned to kind of pass the torch with that and focus on stuff that I'm doing personally. But I moved back because I just missed home. It was nothing more to say. I really missed my family. I missed my friends and the community that I had here. I didn't have that in Atlanta.
That's deep. Now, you touched on one detail in that I do want to touch on some Detroit culture. If you ever catch a flight from Atlanta going to Detroit or from Detroit going to Atlanta, the cultural experience of that, even if you're on Delta, but definitely if you're on Spirit, it's an interesting cultural experience.
It is.
The Detroit to Atlanta flight is always colorful, to say the least, even in a red eye. So I definitely like the kindred spirit of the cities. Like, it's like a warped Detroit or Detroit's a warped Atlanta or something. Like
it is.
It's unique. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then you can almost, and I think the flight for me is always unique because like, it's like you can almost tell like they from Atlanta. They from the D.
They always
they
say
from
that.
Atlanta. They from the D.
We swear, Detroiters swear we don't have an accent, but we go places and they're like, where are you from?
We do have an accent, but I mean, just on the plane, you can just tell by the way they walk on the plane.
How we dress, our
hairstyles. Yeah. The plane.
It's a whole thing.
The Detroit plane etiquette is a thing.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for white folks, but black folks, like,
oh, it's a thing.
Yeah, you'll see like the slides, the hat cocked a certain way, the leggings a certain way.
You're gonna wear something that says Detroit on it.
The carry-on bag a certain way, where it's like,
yep.
Yeah, they from.
Yep.
Like they from the D. They from the D. It's like let me finish this McDonald's before I get on the plane. It's like that's a Detroit move right there.
Mm-hmm.
So even in that connection, like that feel, and then seeing it, being around it, that energy, that spirit was something that you grew back to like appreciate. And like we say, Atlanta does have its own vibe that it is, like I say, it's like a warped Detroit. It's close, but not exactly that. You know what I'm saying? In the style and flow. What would you say, being there and coming back and then being still committed here, what are some of those things that you think Detroiters often take for granted about the culture of Detroit?
I feel like we have a unique advantage here to be more involved and actually can make change. Atlanta's huge. Way bigger than Detroit in some capacity, and probably growing, right? Yeah. But Detroit, we really can make a difference. And I learned that even when I came back, like I said, I joined a nonprofit. It was called Detroit Young Professionals. It's still around. Shout out to DYP, my DYP people. But we were young professionals. We had this nonprofit, and we would gather other young professionals, and we were making the impact that we wanted to see, whether it was just a community of young professionals to talk about politics or talk about partnering with Dan Gilbert with everything he was doing downtown and different stuff like that, so that we can have some involvement and influence over what was happening in the city. You can't, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can do that in Atlanta, but it's going to be a little bit harder because it's a bigger infrastructure. Here, I mean, it's such a small community. I say it every day. I'm like, it's 0 degrees of separation in Detroit. Like, if you really want to do something or you really want to talk to somebody, it can really happen. And the level of involvement that you can have of seeing a city change, or just the involvement with what you want to do or starting a business or whatever, I'm not going to say it's easier because the work is still got to be put in. But I feel like you can really plant a seed, and it can really, come to fruition here, more so than I would think that the grind would be in a bigger city.
Yeah.
So,
it's more access points, and it's definitely some ceilings, but it's also some skies here.
Yeah. And networking here is different. Networking here, like I said, is 0. I'm pretty sure if we had a longer conversation, I'm pretty sure you know somebody that I know.
I mean, I know some people in DYP.
So. Exactly. And it's just as simple as that, of like the community of people is so small, and it's, whether it's just brushing elbows with people, but I feel like you're able to make more traction here, and it's genuine. It is genuine. Like you said, there's some glass ceilings in some places, but do you have the tenacity to get past those, those glass ceilings? It can be done. But I even feel like in the last 10 years that I've been back, I've seen so many people be able to think about something, and the idea comes into fruition, or it turns into like, then we're just talking about something, and you look up and it's a couple of years later and things have happened, and it may just be the times of the world, but I also feel like it's a place and opportunity right here in the city that I've seen so many people be able to do great things in this city and have an impact that they want to have. So that to me is exciting. I didn't necessarily see that in Atlanta, but I can't say I put forth the effort to try to see it either.
I got you. Now, this collective, what brings you to Detroit, is different. Lux Collective, the Lux Experience, partner with 2 other entrepreneurs. What drew you into this experience? What was special about it that made you say, okay, because I mean, you're coming in with like, it seems like, as young as you are, I know it sounds crazy to say, but you're coming in with like decades worth of business experience, and business partnerships aren't easy. And I'm
Oh,
sure
no, they're
in
not.
decades worth, you've seen the ebb and flow of that. What drew you into this one?
Ooh, so many things. Well, the cool part about the team, the Lux team, it started off with the four of us. It keeps expanding. The team is bigger than just the four of us, but the Lux Collective is collectively four black women who went to Oakland. We all went to Oakland, OU up in Rochester, and we started the Lux experience. We've added people to the team, and we just vibed. Like you said, people, you don't meet people and it's just peaceful and it's easy and everybody have their swim lanes and it just works well. And a lot of times when we talk about it, even sometimes when I hear it come out my mouth, it's like, yeah, right. It's just easy with us. And it's like brainchild on steroids when we sit down and talk, and it's just you can feel the energy of like what's to come, and it's something good, and we just keep building on that. So we do the Lux experience with Navy B. Ray, and that's been awesome. We've interacted with so many different women and have had so many great experiences through these photo shoots, and it continues to grow, right? That continues to grow. And what we decided to do, which is the Lux Collective, is what we have is something special. And I know what we provide, we've gotten great feedback about it. Why not turn around and teach other people how to get that, or how to get people to experience that with whatever field they're in? It doesn't just have to be creative. It just doesn't have to be a makeup artist or a photographer or a hairstylist. It's whoever. Everybody's business has probably an opportunity to go to the next level. Everybody want to feel like they can experience great customer service and a total package when they come for whatever you're providing. And I feel like we've came up with the secret sauce. And I mean, it's four of us and we all have our own little unique twist and spin on it. And you put us together and it's funny to watch, because sometimes I'm like having an out-of-body experience watching us at photo shoots, because people always leave and feel like, man, like, I want to do this again. And this was just, we make them feel comfortable. And it's so many different things that people don't think about. So whether you're in the industry of being a creative or not in the industry of being a creative, there's ways and things you can think about to take your business to the next level and for your customers to experience something greater within what you're providing for them. So for me, that's what I get excited about, what we have provided, what we have together as a team. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me going with it, with the Lux experience and the Lux Collective.
Okay. So in the future, it could even be near future. What are you looking to add to that experience? What's going to be the Apryl Payne stamp in the mix of this?
My stamp, we talked about this a couple of meetings ago, and we all tried to figure out, like, what's my placement in this? And you hit the nail on the head. I come with a lot of experience from a professional background with having my hands in so many different areas, the business side of things. And I think that's where my stamp is. Like, I'm the person who, I can do hair and makeup. Okay, I can do that. I can get behind the brush. I can flat iron some hair. I can do that. But I also bring that business piece of it, of understanding what did your customer think about what you're doing. I can sit in that chair, right? I can talk to you about how you get to the next level financially. We can sit down and talk about tax stuff. So that is the stuff I feel like I bring to the group as a whole. We all bring a lot of great stuff. Brandy has a bunch of awesome ideas. Shay is just a plethora of information, and she has a lot of experience on the corporate level too. So, and then Shelby, who's not here, she also has a vast, broad knowledge of the industry that she's in as well. She's a stylist and she's bomb. Like, she's bomb. But I feel like my thing is that business part. Like, I can do the hair and makeup, and you can put me in that box too. But for me, I feel like the thought process of the business side of, like, how do you get the business? Okay, we got the service, but the business part of it, making sure you have your ducks in a row. When you're thinking about the other things to make sure this is good, but I don't want this to fall to the side. Those are the things that I also bring to the team.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, as we get closer to a close,
Okay.
First thing, contact information. How do people get in contact?
Sure. Well, I can be reached on IG. My business page is All Made Up AKP. And same as on Facebook is All Made Up by AKP. So those are my handles on IG and Facebook.
Okay. All right. And last question. I've been asking, I asked Shay if you could do makeup for any Detroiter, who would it be and why? I asked Brandy photography, a photo shoot with someone, who would it be and why? I'm going to flip it a little bit. I'm going to come up with the who. And I want you to give me what would your interpretation of the shoot be. And I'm going to give you a couple who's, classic Detroiters.
Okay.
So, 3 of my favorite Detroiters, all A's. Aretha Franklin.
I knew you was gonna say her.
I'm starting with her.
Okay.
So,
you me go off of that one.
go off
Aretha,
that one.
I
got two
think-
more for you too.
I
if
think
you were to
hair.
do the hair. I mean, the whole shoot experience.
Yeah.
Hair, what would the look be? What
Oh.
would the clothes be? Like the whole thing. What would you do?
It will be classic Detroit. I don't know if you ever saw her movie that came out, but a very vintage, old school hairstyle. Probably, what people would think are wigs nowadays, but just some probably updo that's super fancy, super, like I said, classic Detroit. The makeup will be simple and clean, but classic, because sometimes now we get off into makeup that's real trendy, that if you take a photo 10 years from now, it's not going to age well, lashes all crazy, all this crazy stuff. No, it's going to be a picture, and the makeup is something that's going to age well. The style is going to be classic, whether it's a French roll or some type of updo. And I'll leave the styling for Shelby or Dana, which is our stylist,
right,
or
like the
whatever.
clothing?
Yeah, the
No,
clothing.
I'm throwing
Oh,
it
you
to
want
you.
me?
This is
You
all
want me to
you.
do
This
the
is
styling
your
too?
whole thing.
Probably Aretha was good for a nice tailored dress that had more structure to it, just because of her body style. But I think that would go with the whole look.
Color?
A color. I think about this pink Cadillac whole situation.
There we go. So
It's
you already
probably
just
something
gave
with
us a space. So she's wearing pink in the pink Cadillac.
Uh-huh.
What's the name of that song? Highway to Love. I remember that. so pink Cadillac,
Yep.
pink dress, classic updo. I like that. Here go the next one.
Okay.
Aaliyah.
Woo. So Aaliyah was known for the nice swoop bang covering like one of her eyes is a signature look. Shay wears
very
it all the
much-
time.
I assume a lot of
That's still a
my
classic look.
Classmates at Hallie Magnet Middle School.
Straight, bone straight hair, not too many curls. She was simple. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So I think with her, maybe add a little bit of color to play up the
What
look. Probably some browns and blondes. Aaliyah was a beautiful woman, and she didn't need much. She was simple. She had her tomboy style. That was a whole vibe,
So
and
what
that
was
was a vibe. That was a vibe for Detroiters
At
too.
the time, I agree. It's definitely a flow. What do you have her in?
Probably the old school Calvin Klein look, where you wear like the sports bra with the Calvin Klein under it at the bottom, and like some baggier pants with designs and stuff on them. Makeup super simple. I feel like with her is super clean. She don't need much.
Okay.
She don't need much. So we're gonna do like a lip liner that you can see, because that was a trend back in the day.
Okay.
But yeah, she didn't need much makeup.
Location or
Location?
like setting. We got Pink
Setting?
Cadillac with Aretha Franklin and with Aaliyah.
Setting is only right maybe for Aretha to be at what we used to know as the Shane Park, because that's hers now.
Okay.
We've
With a pink
renamed
Cadillac
it with the
and
pink Cadillac
and-
down by the water. Aaliyah, I would say maybe in front of the Spirit of Detroit area, like downtown in that area by Hart Plaza. I don't know why, because I feel like that's what comes to mind when I think about other Detroit artists, but I feel like that would be a good space for her, if not like Belle Isle.
Okay. The last A, and she just did a heck of a concert for everybody. Anita, because I think those three. when I think
Anita.
of Detroit. What would it be? What would be the look? What would be the feel?
Anita was good for a short hairstyle. Auntie Anita had short. She wore a short style, so you can play that up a lot. A short style, real soft, simple curls. a nice clean look with maybe like a nice burgundy kind of look. She's older now, but she always wore, she was a very simple, and that's the thing. Detroit women, we were simple. Like we had crazy hairstyles and sometimes our clothing was crazy, but the women that I'm thinking of, they were beautiful without makeup, without all of these crazy hairstyles. So even Anita, something clean, short hairstyle. Back in the day, younger Anita, Auntie Anita, like short hairstyle, simple makeup, like a burgundy, mauve type lip. And as far as clothes, I see her in something a little bit more sparkly. I don't know what she wore to the concert. I didn't go. I didn't get a ticket. But some type of dress, probably longer dress. She was always clean, probably something black or something sparkly. She had a very classic look too.
Okay.
Yep.
And what for the setting? What's
Oh man, Anita. I'm thinking we're around the city. So much has changed as far as downtown. I would say I would put Anita somewhere in like maybe the heart of the city, maybe Midtown or maybe Wayne State area, or even maybe one of the what we would say the bougier areas like Sherwood Forest, or the upscale areas, Rosedale Park, you know, close to that. Yeah, there we go. Livernois and 7 Mile area.
I know Rufus Bartell will welcome that.
Yeah, exactly. We gonna go a little bit north and come out of downtown. So yeah, I would probably put her over there.
I'm with it. And then also in the world of Detroit looks, even though not Detroit proper, but a Detroiter definitely at heart, the woman in pop culture that always was changing is Madonna, is another Detroiter that would be just,
yeah,
who knows what that look would be.
Yeah.
Who knows? But definitely appreciate this. And then connect. This was fun. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Detroit is Different is where you get information, artistry, history, music, and even comedy. Detroit is Different, a home for the culture of Detroit. Visit online at DetroitisDifferent.com today.